Yo, 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 Dunkin' Dave here, and it finally happened. I managed to put myself into a skanky hotel. Yesterday, Dom and I and his girlfriend, fiance, spent the entire day out, and we were going to meet up here in the area where I'm at now. And I tried to find a campsite, and the campsite was full, and it was getting to be near dark, and I was not thrilled about trying to find a place in the dark. So what I did was I went on to hotels.com and I found a place. It had 4.3 stars and the price was right. So I logged in there and paid for my room, and first I had to find the place, which was not easy, and then I stopped in there and I was like, is this the place? And he goes, yeah. And I almost turned around, but because I had already paid for the room, because I did it on hotels.com, I had to stay. And it was sketchy. This was a place that was just one step above a pay for it by the hour type place. I mean, it was skanky. The parking lot was nasty, and it was just sketchy. And then I checked it. I got in the room, and I was like, it was a small room, and it just had, you know, the bed and, you know, whatever the bare minimum was there. And then you know, I would sleep. I would sleep at like 10 o'clock, and at about 2 o'clock, I heard the people in the room next door, and I mean, the walls must have been paper thin, because they were having sex. And I mean, it was like a Stormy Daniels movie. That girl was going at it, and and oh my God. So that went on for like, how long does coitus last? Coitus lasts about 8 minutes, something like that. But she went at it for a little bit longer, and then she went at it some more, and then she got up and she went in to use the bathroom to clean up, I assume. Skanky. And it's not like, you know, it's not like I mind people having sex at all. It's just I wanted to sleep. I couldn't give a rat's ass about them having sex, but I just wanted them to be quiet so I could sleep. And then at about 5 o'clock, I don't know what the hell was going on, but something was going on where they're backing up, and that beep 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 thing was going off, and that went on for like forever. And in between the 2 o'clock and the 5 o'clock, I had another crazy dream. I dreamed I was getting married to Holly Berry. Woohoo! And I don't know why she came into the picture. I mean, she's a beautiful gal. Not the gal that I would hang out with, but she's a beautiful gal. And somehow my ex-wife, my second ex-wife, because I've been married twice, single twice, somehow she was there, and she wanted to put her engagement ring, diamond ring, into the wedding cake. Go figure. I just cannot figure out why I would do something like that. Why I would dream something like that. But it was another crazy ass dream. And so, well, you know, that's the way my dreams go. And then I had another dream that my daughter and I were laying out in the yard somehow, and I don't know. It was another weird dream. Now I don't dream about my daughter or anything like that, but but it was just a weird dream. So that was my night. It was a freaking long night. I'm glad I went to sleep early, but you know, because I did get some rest. I didn't watch any TV, of course. The TV was not on while I was sleeping, so once again my subconscious is filling in the gaps. But that was just a weird dream. And then waking up to the people having sex and the walls were paper thin, that's a first right there. Like I said, this was a skanky hotel, just one above you know, pay for the room by the hour. What is a bad shift there. So nuts. So we're coming into an interesting place. I'm not going to say what it is right now, but it's an interesting place, and you'll have to see where we're coming. All right, Donk and Dave out.
A few moments later.
All right, we're entering Salem, Massachusetts, the home of the Salem witch trials. So what we're going to do is kind of explore this place and see what kind of trouble we can get into, and hopefully not have a hex put on us. All right, here's our destination. Roger Conant, who was born in 1592 and died in 1697, and he was the first settler of Salem, Massachusetts, and we are right next to the Salem Witch Museum. And there's a bunch of kids here. They're on a field trip. They're from Houston, Texas. I just kind of bumped into them. They want to know where I was from. But we're going to go in here to Salem Witch Museum and kind of check it out and see what's going on there. All right, so we'll see what's going on.
1 hour later.
So we're leaving the Witch Museum.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
That was kind of cool. Find out about what happened. And as it turns out, it was just mass hysteria. The Spanish Inquisition and the Inquisition of the church had been going on for a while. And then the Puritans, they landed here in Massachusetts, and to be quite honest, they didn't have anything to do. So the girls, there were these girls that just went kind of nuts, and they decided to start rousing up the population. And so they accused this couple of people of being witches. And what was going on was mental illness too. One of the girls fell ill, and the doctor just could not explain it. So what he did was he said, "I can't explain this, so it must be the devil." So what they did is they started trying these people, and as it turns out, they executed 19 people, 18 of them hanged, and one dude was like badass, because what they did back then is if you weren't hung, they would press you. They would take a board, they'd lay you down and tie you up and put a board on you, and then start putting rocks on it. And this dude was badass. If he had confessed to being a witch, they would have taken away all his property. So instead, he said more weight, until finally he died because his rib cage was crushed in, and so his family never lost their land or property or anything like that. So he was badass.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
But that's what happened. It was just mass hysteria that just took over, you know, with this place. And you know, it's only after they had executed all of these innocent people, because some of the girls started confessing that they made everything up. They felt bad about it, so then they forgave the families, you know, of anything bad that happened. And I think that would just suck. Can you imagine, you know, what that would be like now if somebody accused somebody of doing something bad that they didn't do? Can you think of anything like that? How about the Me Too movement right now? Because you got people that are accusing people of doing stuff with absolutely no proof, and these people are losing their lives. Basically, they're being fired and all that stuff, and that's the hysteria of the day. And it's about the same thing. The same thing happened with McCarthyism, with communism. McCarthy went nuts over people, and then the Japanese internment. After World War II started, and the Japan hit Pearl Harbor and all that happened, and so you can just see where this comes from. It's just hysteria. Same thing with the AIDS epidemic, the AIDS virus, and all that stuff. People were just freaking out over the whole thing. So this is commonplace among people, and we just happen to be part of it. Really, the Spanish Inquisition was part of it. It's just the Inquisition. But this museum here, they went into witchcraft and what's going on with witchcraft. And really, if you look back to it, the witches or the Wiccas, they were using natural herbs and things like that to try to heal people, and they were also the people that help women give birth. So what happened was, these witches, if you want to call them that, they kind of became pharmacists. You can see the origination of the pharmacy industry right here. In the use of herbs, and they're still doing it now. I mean, marijuana is being used as a cure for certain types of pain and glaucoma and all that stuff. And and that's really not really based on any science. I mean, they haven't really gone into the pharmacology of it, but that's what they've got. Well, Salem, Massachusetts was not just known for witches. It was a great seaport, and this is an example of the wharf. This is the remnants of the wharf that was left from the seaport. And we're not trying to confuse you with Lieutenant Worf from Star Trek. This is the real wharf. And as you can see, we scan over here, and there's a nice marina right there where a bunch of boats are. And then you see the boats moored out here in the bay, and we have this, what I would call the smallest lighthouse I've ever seen, but it's not really a lighthouse because it doesn't rotate, but it just comes off and on and off and on like that. And then more boats, and then here is kind of the entry right here. But this area here was known for very well known for being a good port. And what happened was, in pre-revolutionary times, the English, the royalty of English, they were at war with like Spain. So what they did is they allowed American privateers to go after the Spanish fleet, and they did that. And when they finally won the war, they said, okay, you can stop. But they didn't stop, and what happened was the Americans, they became pirates.
Holy Benedict Arnold.
And that's where we got Blackbeard and all the other guys from. Blackbeard was killed off of Beaufort, North Carolina. And his name was Edward Teach, as a matter of fact. But pirating became big business, and this wharf right here was part of the cause of that, because the privateers would bring their stuff that they got from the Spanish. They would bring it here to be stored. And so after that happened, the pirating eventually stopped, and then this wharf kind of died out a little bit. But you can trace piracy in the Caribbean and in the Atlantic to this wharf right here, and that's pretty cool. That goes back a long way in our history. So you're getting the full circle here. The pirateers, the piracy, and it all starts here in Salem with this wharf right here that I'm standing on. That's pretty cool. Alright, we're here in a graveyard, and you guys know how I like graveyards and everything, to read tombstones and everything. But this is a memorial to the people of the Salem witch trials, and the 19 or 20 of them that died. I think I was wrong at first that there was 19 that died. There was 20 that died. 19 were hung, and then one guy was pressed. So that was 20. But here's an example of just how old some of these things are. Here's a dude, let's see. Here's a dude that died in 1746. I mean, that's old. This guy here died in 1750. And this person here died in 1767. I mean, these are some old gravestones. The oldest that I've ever seen, that's 1754. And then you got big ones, and you got little ones. I'm assuming that the little ones are little babies or something like that. But look at this graveyard. It is cool. And the history of the people that's in here, can you imagine what the history is like of these people and how they lived back then? I mean, a hard life. Some of them were sea captains, some of them were shopkeepers, and some of them were farmers, and all that good stuff. But this is mondo cool right here, to be able to see this stuff and to be where something is so ancient like that. I mean, that's a long time ago, folks. That's cool. This is a memorial place here to the people that were executed as a result of the Salem witch trials. And this is the dude that was badass, Giles Corey. Giles Corey was pressed to death in September 19th, 1692. He was the man. He didn't give in, never give in. And there's the graveyard of some really old folks. And here's the memorial right here. But man, can you imagine somebody saying, we're going to press you until you confess, and then if you knew that you would lose everything if you confessed, your family would lose everything, you sacrificed your life for them. He was the man. He was badass. Giles Corey, I congratulate you, brother. Wow. So I'm here in downtown Salem, and the entire industry here seems like it's based on witches and the occult. You got a haunted house over there, you got the Omen Emporium, Bewitched in Salem, and there's a bunch of tarot card readers and all kinds of stuff in here. The whole town here is just based on witchcraft and witches, and I guess it stands to reason. It's its namesake, but it reminds me of the town where Royal Tyrrell Museum was with dinosaurs. And then Roswell, New Mexico, it was all based on the aliens and all that stuff. So this whole town is kind of based on it too. They even have taxis. They're called witch taxis. It's crazy here, but it has an interesting vibe here. It's all right, they're doing a lot of work here in the town, so that's cool. Good for them. Well, guys, I just had a clam strip lunch, a basket with clam strips and fries and a Coke, and I'm just sitting here chilling out by the bay looking at the boats and all this stuff. It's nice and warm, and it just doesn't get any better than this. It just feels good. Man, I could take a nap right now. But right here on the waterfront, man, it's great. Can't ask for anything better. It doesn't get any better than this. Hope you guys are happy wherever you are. Man, it's just great right here. I just wanted to share that. Hope you guys are happy. Later.
2 hours later.
Well, here's the bat bike, and here's our campground with the tent all set up and ready to rock and roll. And it was kind of funny because the guy said when I got into the campground, he's like, "Where would you like to be?" And I said, "I don't know." So he said, "Would you like to be near the pond?" So I was like, "Oh yeah, heck yeah, why not?" So he put me right on the pond, and it just doesn't get much better than this, guys. This from where I was in Salem, Massachusetts, this was approximately 9 miles away. To go from the seaport of Salem to a beautiful state park with a campground and a pond is just awesome. You just can't get much better than this. So that's going to do it for me today. Appreciate the people that have watched the videos and the people that have subscribed to my channel. I'm trying to get better at this, guys, so I appreciate your patience with me, and I'm going to continue to try to do this every day. So you have a great one. This is Donkin Dave, out.